Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and Hercules, issue number one out of Disney. Yeah, not the Marvel Hercules, not even the DC Hercules, the Disney Hercules, mother fat heads. That's what we're talking about. This is out of Dynamite Comics. They sent me a free issue, PDF, but I read it, and it's a rough one. I sat there looking at this like, I think I'm gonna like this, even though I never watched the movie. Let me give it a shot. Because normally I'd be like, no, I'm simply not going to be into this. But here's the thing about it. Dynamite has been kicking out some bangers as of late. Shocking me all to hell. I did not expect for, with all due respect to Dynamite Comics and all the wonderful interviews that they've tried to set up with me, and two of them actually took, right? I gotta say, man, it's a shock to see Dynamite Comics of all companies suddenly putting out good stuff, right? To me, at least. Some of you guys are old school Dynamite fans. For me, it's a hit or miss. I'll try that one. Not interested in that one, right? Lately, they've been putting out some really good stuff. So let's look at this. Hercules number one. First, let's talk about who made this comic book. Then we're allowed to get into the other stuff. So these names are interesting. Elliot Callan is the writer. George Kambadais is the artist. Guilia-giacomino and Simona Guida are the colorists. Jeff Eckleberry on letters. That one's easy. And George is back on the main cover. So I'm thinking at first, way too many Greek names on this, right? I mean, come on. Can we have some English names? Something a little bit easier for me? Maybe some just regular old Italian names. We could do that, right? No. Instead, they got to put a bunch of Greek people doing a freaking Greek comic book. I mean, seriously, what were they thinking? Obviously, I'm being silly. There's going to be like two people out there talking about, oh, that's representation. Shut up. Nobody's talking to you, all right? I read this comic book and I was actually enjoying this, all right? I've never seen the movie. That is a very crucial point to make when it comes to reviewing this comic book. Because anybody who's seen the movie, most people seem to really love the movie. I know lots of people who watched it. It's just like, oh my God, Bill, you gotta watch it. You would love it. Okay. I'll try. Never quite got around to it. Is what it is, all right? I think they might have made a TV show about this also, Whatever. Anyway, as far as reading this comic book for the first time, I might as well have read the movie. Or read the movie. Whatever. Might as well have seen the movie. Because for crying out loud, I knew that Hades was a huge, important part of that. So, I mean, what else do I need to know? I understand from the clips and the trailer that I've seen for the movie, I already know who this character is, right? He's a sillier take on an otherwise very serious character of Hercules, right? Obviously, it's a dramedy, right? In this particular case, pure drama when you're talking about actually a tragedy. Damn, freaking tragedy. Like this girl Meg, who's in here, this woman who I don't know if he's married to her yet or not. I think he is. Anyway, this is his first of three wives. Anybody who knows the Greek mythologies, this is the one who he has three kids with and then murders those three kids because hell, it drives him crazy at one point. Some of the stories, and this one I had a hard time, that's why I actually looked it up. Apparently even Aristotle got in on this. A bunch of people questioning, did he actually kill Meg or not, right? I remember him killing Meg, but then I see other stories where no, actually he didn't kill Meg. He gave her to, he like divorced her and gave her to his nephew to marry. And in other cases gave it to his chariot driver to marry, his assistant, who helped him cauterize the stump where the Hydra was regrowing two heads for every one he cut off. Another Marvel reference right there. Hercules versus Hydra. Huh. Who'd think that could work? Anyway, so many different stories in regards to that. But either way, in the actual mythology, he kills their kids at the very least, if not actually killing her also. Bro, that's deep. I can't believe they went with Meg of all people. I guess they're trying to change things around. Also, Meg of all people sounds like Meg of Annan. Anybody remember Meg of Annan? That's hi, how are you, and welcome from the elves and Lord of the Rings. Anyway, um, without having seen the movie, only reading this first issue, I feel like I know the character well. And that is a huge bonus. Even if the book stunk, which it didn't, but even if it stunk, I would still look at this and say, you know what? This is a hit. Good job. Because no backstory, nothing for me to reference this to because I've never seen the movie, right? Nothing to go on except the idea that I know that a movie existed and it came from Disney and boom, here we go. I already have enough of an understanding of who this character is. I can move on with the character, all the silly stuff that happens in here, right? Like he actually fights, he goes and he meets Pygmalion. Anybody who's familiar with the story, I remember in ninth grade I had to read Pygmalion. Pygmalion is, I think, the original Frankenstein story, right? Where Pygmalion crafts this beautiful woman out of marble and then prays to Aphrodite to make her come alive because he's fallen in love with how beautiful this woman is. And then she goes crazy and all sorts of crazy things start happening, right? Messed up story. I highly recommend reading it. Probably got to get that from my oldest son. 10's old enough, right? 10, 14, what's the difference? He'll be 11 soon. So, anyhow, the statue goes crazy, starts hurting people. This is the only problem I have with the comic book. At one point, she's like, no, I just wanted hugs. I have so much love for everybody. I just wanted, but I wound up hurting people. Oops, I don't mean it. She's so full of energy. I get it. So she's ADHD. Okay, that happens. The problem is she starts punching Hercules in the face, which is just a little too far for me, right? Like, you can't say you were trying to give hugs like this. I've hugged lots of people in my life. I just hugged 2 kids last night, right? No punching, no punching. It was like not even from them, right? And we're a violent martial arts family, all right? That being said, there was no punching between us, all right? Maybe a little smack on the butt. Guy, get to bed. All right, you little whippersnapper. You chip off the old block. You crotch goblin. All 3 of those are loving terms. 2 are more loving than the other. Anyway, you decide which. Freaking A, man. Even though there was the punching stuff, I still really enjoyed this. I actually enjoyed reading this comic book and just forget about everything else. I'm going to put it this way. If Dynamite's going to keep on sending me the book on PDF, I'm going to keep on reading and reviewing the comic book. By the time I got to the end of this, it was very easy to realize what Elliot Callan is planning on doing. Hope I'm not butchering his name too bad. It looks to me like, since there's a field full of fodder for FFF to Triple F, a field full of fodder for all these monsters and whatnot to show up and Hercules has to fight and purge the earth of, I am down for seeing every issue him having to deal with a new monster, or every couple of issues, whatever it's going to be, however they're going to do it. There are so many monsters. At one point, tell me if I'm wrong on this. If one day we're reading issue number 20 and the front cover is Poseidon and he goes, release the Kraken. You're telling me you wouldn't want to watch Hercules from the Disney show, the Disney movie, fighting the Kraken? Put your lies in the comments below, all right? Because everybody wants to see that. There's nobody who doesn't want to see that. And the people who say they don't want to see that, they're not really people. They're lizard men. I want to see Hercules fighting the lizard men at this point. I don't care if that's Conan or actually King Cole. Let's go. Hercules versus King Cole versus Conan. That's what I want to see. Make it happen. All right? Freaking Solomon Kane could be the referee for it all. Red Sonja's the prize. Anyway, guys, this is actually really good. For everything that I'm sitting here reading this stuff, it's just above the light reading category. Absolutely, it's light reading. Absolutely, I can give this to my kids to read, right? If they sent me a physical copy, that would be easier. But all that being what it is, I'm reading this comic book. I'm like, I'm actually enjoying this. I can't wait to see what happens in the next issue. You guys should too. Go ahead and pick it up. Give it a look. I think you might enjoy it. I think Danny DeVito played the satyr. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Was that his voice that I recall in my head? Another guy from Asbury Park. Anyway, guys, like the video, watch an ad. go check out this comic book. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.